Well, hello all and welcome back to the Pipe Cottage. I am going to do more of a fun video today. Talk about various and sundry things, what I've been reading, show you some new pipes I've got, and talk about generally why pipe smoking is good for the soul. And I think it is. I am so convinced that every evening when I go to the back porch or I sit in my study here and I enjoy a pipe after supper, that's a wonderful time to get some prayer done. And it helps me to focus and to really concentrate on the things of God. And so pipe smoking has become such a wonderful part of my everyday routine, as you well know, as many of you have allowed pipe smoking to be a part of your routine as well. And I want to share with you a couple of items that I received in the mail that will help make that even more wonderful and more of a time of blessing, those evening pipe smoking sessions. Now, there is a certain tobacco shop in Mississippi. I don't believe I have to mention their name, who acquired the pipe collection from Mr. Ben C. Toledano. If you recall, I made a video probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago or so, telling you about who Ben C. was. And for those who are not familiar with that video, he was from New Orleans, Louisiana. And he was an attorney, and he was in politics down there for a good while. And when I knew him, he lived in Columbus, Mississippi. And I didn't know that he smoked a pipe at the time. I didn't know that he smoked a pipe until years later, after he died. His wife showed me his pipe collection when I went to visit her in Columbus. And so I asked her if she'd be willing to sell them. And I didn't have any business buying all those pipes, but I contacted this particular unnamed tobacconist, which we will leave unnamed. And I said, you might be interested in these pipes. And so they bought them. And I said, I think it would be appropriate if you would allow me to have 2 or 3 of his briars, because he had a Meerschaum collection as well. And so they did. And I finally got them in the mail this week, and they've been restored. I didn't expect them to already be restored. The first, a Dunhill shell briar. Isn't that pretty? A Dunhill shell briar pipe. Now, I'm not really up to date on how you can determine the date on a Dunhill, so if y'all can help me out with that, I'd love to know it. LB, I don't know what that means. F/T, I don't know what that means. Made in England, I know what that means. 4S, no clue. I don't know. I have one Dunhill. Well, I've got more than that now, but before now I only had one Dunhill in my collection. Lots of reasons for that. Mostly because I don't like paying that much for a pipe when I can find pipes of, in my opinion, similar quality for much cheaper, particularly an Ashton pipe. So I just love the sandblast on that. So the first time I saw this pipe, it was in a basket beneath an end table in Ben C's parlor. And it was literally a basket pipe. So I think this will be a good smoker. Another Dunhill. This is a root briar. And the first time I saw this pipe, it was also in that basket. So the restoration job is very good on this pipe. Very good. The only thing that I wish did not happen is it looks like they put a coating on the inside of the bowl. I guess there are reasons why restorers do that, but when I'm buying a new pipe, I often like to stay away from bowl coatings as much as I can. Got some excellent bird's eye on that. The reaming put it a little bit out of round. It's not exactly as round as it was originally, but who cares? So I don't know what this is either. Some of the buffing has worn some of the stamping on it. 6L, that's either a D or a B. 6L, D or B, S. And on the other side, there's a 4R. So y'all tell me what that means, you Dunhill fanatics out there. But they did an excellent job restoring this, and I'm glad to have it. And this is a GBD. Y'all know that I really, really love GBD pipes, and that's got some good grain on it as well. Very happy with this pipe. This is made in France. This is not an English GBD, so I'm not sure that it's very old, maybe 1980s. But that's got some good bird's eye on the top of the bowl there. So I've got those 3 pipes from Mr. Ben C. Toledano's collection, and I received an old tin of McClellan. Now, I have never had in my possession a McClellan tin that's got this here paper on the outside of it. And I don't even know what kind of blend it is. It's not designated on the paper, and I've not opened it up, but I'm going to, and I have no clue whether this is smokable. I don't know what environment it's being in, but I want to open it up, and we're going to find out. No use in having it if you can't smoke it. So we're going to see. Oh, this is mixture number 14. Mixture number 14. I can see this has got water damage. All right. So we're going to have to find out if this is actually usable or not. I can see the tin has some water damage on it. Well, how do you open this up? Looks like the label is backwards. A mixture number 14. So it may or may not be suitable. McClellan mixtures are made from the finest, delicate lead, sweet Virginia, and Carolina leaf blended by hand and carefully seasoned with rich Latakia and rare, naturally aromatic Turkish and Greek tobaccos. But I don't know how you would open that. Man, that got some water damage on it for sure. I guess you got to open it with a can opener. We'll save that for later. I'm not going to worry about that right now, because that could be a mess to try and deal with. But I think it's cool that the tin has lasted that long, but I don't know what all I'm going to deal with there. So let's just hang on to that. Some of you may know about this study done by Dr. Eleanor Criswell in 1973. Dr. Eleanor Criswell, she did a study on pipe smokers, and the title of the study is The Optimum Man, A Woman's Pipe Dream. Ooh. And she, for those who don't know anything about this, she sent flyers out to 1,000 pipe smokers in the early 1970s and 1,000 women. She divided it up into 1,000 men, 1,000 women. And mostly the women were not pipe smokers. They were commenting on the type of man that they consider a pipe smoker to be. And so these are some of the adjectives used in the study, which I find to be very, very interesting. So listen to this. If you smoke a pipe, you may take pleasure in the fact that 90 to 97% of all respondents, male and female combined, use these words in the following order to describe pipe smokers: stable, capable, mature, intelligent, dependable, kind, responsible, loyal, sincere, sure, masculine, reliable, good-natured, friendly, solid, strong, conscientious, self-controlled, careful, keeps on going, gentle, confident, affectionate, attractive, deep thinking, and dignified. You know, when I read that for the first time, I thought, that's me. That's who I am. Well, I can probably work on some of that. I think we all can, but I think it's really, really interesting that there's an image in mind when somebody is smoking a pipe. There's an image in mind that people have about people who smoke a pipe. And usually I think this remains true even now, 50 years later. It remains very much true that most people think that if you smoke a pipe, you are interested in cerebral activities. So this survey can be found online. All you got to do is type in the Criswell survey, and you can find a copy of it, and that's Criswell. So I wanted to share that with you. I mentioned this study in a talk I gave recently, and I was asked by more than one person to share where that information came from. So that's it. I have never read The Haunted Bookshop in my life. I have never read it. But I have heard so many people talk about this book, so I finished it. I read it in probably two and a half days. It's not a difficult read, but I've never read a book that had so much information in it about pipe smoking. And the same goes for the way pipe smokers are characterized in this particular novel from, I think, 1919. Is at the end of the First World War. Yes, sir. 1919, Christopher Morley. But probably my favorite part of the book is the absolute last page, where Mr. Morley says this: "The bookstore is one of humanity's great engines, and one that we use very imperfectly." Oh, now it's 100 years ago now. It's much worse now. "It is a queer fact that most of us still have the primitive habit of visiting bookshops chiefly to ask for some definite title. Aren't we ever going to leave anything to destiny, or to good luck, or to the happy suggestion of some wise bookseller? In every bookstore, small or large, there are books we have not read. There's books on my shelf back here that I've not read. I just buy them because I'm either familiar with the title or I'm not familiar at all with it, but I'm familiar with the author, so I buy it and read it later on. And that's how you build a good library over time. You don't simply buy stuff that you are familiar with. Let's see. They may be new books, they may be of yesterday or of long ago. The store where you found this volume exists in the hope of knowing and learning about books, and in the days before Amazon, remind you. There is no habit more valuable than that of dropping into a bookstore occasionally to look around, to look both inward and outward. We have what you need, though you may not know you need it." Christopher Morley, it's wonderful, and they've got these excellent pieces of artwork in here. And look at this. Isn't that wonderful? So it's not a difficult read at all. I don't know why people don't put books like this in a high school class. I would certainly put that in a high school literary class, because the literary quality is outstanding. Another book I wanted to tell you about that I've just finished reading, I read that this week, and I read this book this past week as well. It's entitled In Defense of Nature by Benjamin Wicker. And this, I wrote a review about it and put it up on Substack. If you want to know more about this particular book, I don't agree with everything in it, of course. You can't agree with every point that a man is making in a piece of nonfiction. But this book is essentially arguing that people on both the right and the left parts of the political spectrum have not treated the land very well. We are a wasteful society. We are a collection of families and individuals that consume more than we produce. We're consuming materialism and things that help us think that we are somehow keeping up with the Joneses and staying with the program. Anyway, I wrote a review about it if you're interested in Christian, particularly Catholic, understanding of environmentalism. And I hate to use that word, environmentalism. All of you know, if you've been following the Pipe Cottage for any length of time, that I believe in land stewardship. But that word environmentalism has become sort of a negative word in modern American politics. So, but there is such a thing as a Catholic or even conservative environmental ethic, an ecological ethic. And so if that topic anyway interests you, then check out that book and check out my review of it on Substack. Before I go, I also wanted to remind you of the upcoming Pipe Cottage weekend. We don't have many spots left. Actually, every time I talk about it, one or two more people are signing up. But I wanted to remind you that that's coming up October 4th through 6th in Sevierville, Tennessee, in the shadow of the Great Smoky Mountains. And we're going to have, I think, about 3 seminars where we'll be discussing topics such as why pipe smoking is good for the soul, why pipe smoking is an important part of a well-balanced way of life. Not everybody's supposed to be pipe smokers and don't have to be, but for those of us who are, I think that this weekend will be of benefit to you. You could look at it as sort of an intellectual retreat of sorts, a way for people to calm down, to rest, to have good, wholesome fun, entertaining, and hopefully intellectual conversation. Got a lot of interesting people coming. And so I'm getting real excited about it. So if you're interested in the upcoming Pipe Cottage weekend, please go to our website, pipecottage.com, and there's a bar at the top of the homepage where you can click, find out more information, and register if you are so inclined. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is Saturday. I've got to go show the kids how to clean the chicken coop today. They're big enough where I don't have to do it anymore. One of the blessings of fatherhood. So until we meet again, this is Alan Harrelson with the Pipe Cottage. Thank you for stopping by.